Hi, I wanted to give you a breakdown of our Dreams Pro site. So this is everything that you can expect to see in your Dreams site and how to navigate to everything. Starting here, this is our dashboard page. When you open it up, this is what you're going to land on. Our first box here is all about VA services. So we're going to view our PI sheets, how many yes and how many no, and how many total, how many contacts we've made, first contacts, how many second contacts and third contacts we've made. We can view this by month, by this month, last month, this week, or we can put in any custom date range that we want. And you've got to hit that check mark to update it. The next section here is leads. So how many leads we have working on our system, how many we've closed, and a grand total. And then here, if we want to click on this, it will let us view all the leads. So all of our working leads. This tab is all of our closed leads. Our call attempts, this is you can sort by all of these columns here or just by clicking up or down. Call attempts, if we click this little arrow here, it'll bring up this screen that shows you our first contact, date, time, and who they spoke with, and then whatever call notes were. Same for the second and third contacts. Our latest call notes is here, and then lead type, if it was a yes lead, a no lead, a closed lead, that's in this column, the date it was closed, and then if you want to actually see your PI sheet, you can hit the print icon and it'll pull up your property information sheet for you. If you want to import leads, this is where you would go to import leads. You would just choose your CSV file and click upload. Then importantly, you want to map out all the fields, so definitely map out the address, the city, the state, what your lead source is. This is another good one to make sure you're mapping that out. The phone number definitely, and then click Run Import. Back on our dashboard now, hours remaining is the other box that we didn't discuss. So how many hours you have left in your account, how many days are left until your next billing cycle. Don't worry, this is a test account here that I have that I'm looking at, so I don't actually have negative 0.09 hours. We try not to go over your time. Occasionally, if we're still on the phone with somebody, you could see that drop to a small negative number like this, but the next time you add hours onto your account, that'll balance everything back out. The next grouping of boxes, landing pages here. So if you want to view all of your landing pages, you just click on that link below. And these are all the landing pages that you have. So one that you want to look at, for example, if you click there, you can see this one is a distressed seller landing page that I created. There's no navigational buttons. I've got one here just because I'm an editor for this account. But otherwise, people that are looking at this landing page are not going to see this. You'll see here, this is a web form that's on the landing page. This is what's used to collect information, and then it sends them the free report. So this is how you would collect their name and email, for example, on this landing page. You can see here if you've got SEO and you want to turn that on, you can do that. Gives you information on how to do it. If you want to publish the landing page, if you need a link to the landing page, you can get the long default link, a shortened link, or if you have a custom domain that you've imported for this, you can use the custom domain and apply it. This here is how many views you've had on your landing page and how many leads you've captured for it. So if you click on this, it will actually give you some submission stats. So this page has had 93 views. We haven't had any form completions. We don't have any leads. You can reset your stats at any time. If I did have some leads in here, they would be listed down below, and then I could click into them to actually view my leads. Here is just some quick tools. You've got the view, so if you wanted to quickly view the landing page, you could also click here instead of just clicking on the name. This is if you want to go in and actually edit your landing page. If you've got a good landing page and you just want to duplicate it, perhaps you're going to make multiple landing pages of the same type, but you're going to change your domains for different marketing reasons. You could quickly duplicate it, or if you just wanted to trash it, here's your delete button. I'm going to go back into my dashboard. Oh, one thing I did not mention, sorry. If we want to add a landing page, it's quite easy. You click on the button, you've got a lot of different options. You've got a blank template, all these different templates, so you could either preview or actually select it to build your page. All right, now back on our dashboard, websites is the next box. You want to view your websites, you would click here. I've got 3 websites it looks like built on this account. You can preview your templates here. If you want to just actually go into the website, you can click the link here. This is how where your domain would be. I don't have any domains set up for any of these websites, so this is just the Automated Genius domain that's created. If you want to deactivate the site, here is your little power button, or if you want to delete it, you would use this. So if you need to go into the details for the website, you would click here. So site details, this is information, company name, your tagline, marketing information, your contact information is here. If you need to manage the pages of your website, that's where you go here. So all of these are the pages within each of the pages. And then you can edit them, you can turn them on and off, you can do SEO for each of them, or you can delete them. Same for your blogs. These are all the different links to all your blogs. And if you wanted to add some additional blogs, you could do that right here. The site menu is the next block. And this is where you can go and adjust everything that's on the site. You can drag them up and down, move them around, that sort of thing here. The theme is where you can go to edit your header logo. You can upload images here. And then you can see the theme in the Advanced Customizer. And it just pops open your website and then all of the different preset headers. So if you wanted to go in and edit that way, you can. Tracking codes, you can copy and paste the Google Analytics tracking codes or Facebook tracking codes here. So that is if you've ever visited a website and you were looking at some nice Nike shoes, and then you happen to go onto Facebook and suddenly you see these Nike shoes appearing on Facebook or everywhere else that you go. It's because the tracking pixel was somehow placed onto your computer. It's a tiny little pixel and it's associated with exactly what it was that you were looking at. So now you can just be everywhere on every site that everybody looks at just by having that cute little tracking pixel code here, and it attaches it to your website. So now you're going to appear in multiple places that you never thought you would. Okay, you can clear your website's cache here, or you can edit in Site Builder here. This is also a quick, easy way if you want to manage your domains. If you had multiple domains and you just wanted to change, you could do so right here. So I'm going to go back into my dashboard. Team activity is a quick little snapshot of everybody that's logged in onto your account, the date that they've logged in, and what type of activity that was done. So if you wanted to view all of the activity, you could see here all the activity for the last 30 days, this week, today, or just everything. And then you could see John Doe's activity versus the VA's activity. And then also this is where you would come to set the permissions, where you would allow or deny them access to different functions within your account. New leads, so any of those web forms that we talked about, every time you get a submission, it's going to appear here. If it was in the last 30 days, the last 7 days, or today. The same for the opt-in submission. So if you want a quick check on who has opted in, I don't have any, so it's not going to take me to anybody, but that's where you would go to see them. My task summary, anytime that you've created a task, you can view them all right here. I've got 12 overdue. I don't have anything due today, and I have a total of 17. If I were to click on it, it would take me into task, my task, or all tasks, because you can assign tasks to different people that are in your account. These are the dates. In order to have a task, you really should select a date that it's due, and then who is going to be completing that task or who it's assigned to. You're going to have tasks for projects, for people, or for properties. So that's why we have 3 different boxes here. We really think that this is a great tool to help you manage everything. Get used to coming in here and creating tasks on even your personal life. If you have a ballet recital coming up that you want to make sure that you're got on your calendar, then you want to just assign it in here. The bottom is for your property pipeline. So we've got it broken down into new properties, evaluating, under contract, and closed. If you just click on it, you can see in a filtered view, it's going to take you to your property pipeline. I clicked on new, so you see my filter is here under new. We can see all the properties that I have listed as new. If I wanted to see any of these others, filtered views, I could just use the drop down here. You can filter by feed source, web form, seller website, the equity analyzer, field agent, and then filter down on deal type, wholesale, rehab, short sale, lease option, Airbnb. I mean, you can just add whatever filters you want also. And then you can manage the ones I added in here were Airbnb or rehab process, so I could delete those if I wanted to. You can definitely sort by these column headings again. If you wanted to get into a property, you just hover over the address and you would click into it. It would take you into the property. I've got a quick edit here. I can delete it or I can archive it. And I can change the status quickly on here. I can publish it on or off. I can syndicate it, which means it would blast it out using the property blaster. Here's a link to the property. Oops. This is if I want to go in and do a little flyer for it. The same for an HTML flyer. And then if I wanted to copy it quickly, I could do that. So here's the copy that I just created. And are you sure you want to delete that one? Yes, I don't need a copy of a test address. So I'm going to just go into one of the properties just so that you can see it pulls up a whole bunch of information. It opened me up on the marketing tab, so let's look at that quickly. The first thing you're going to want to make sure you've got filled out for your property is your marketing profile. And then you can edit your marketing profiles easily here, or you can just use whichever one you've already created from your drop-down list. I've got quite a few here. Then under property details is kind of where you want to go next because it helps you fill out everything else here. So published status, community status is either on or off. We try and make sure that everything is set to off first because otherwise your property is going to appear in the entire database of Dreams users and they'll be able to advertise your your property. So unless you're able to be able to get in contact with everybody, we recommend that you keep that off, because otherwise people will try and negotiate deals on your behalf and then try and split that with you. If you're fine with that, then great, publish it on, but that's up to you to manage. We're stepping out of that process. And then property alerts, you can get alerted on whenever somebody's published to the community. So this one looks like it can be resent today. If I were to publish it, you would see the date here. Your website status. This is where you can set up a single property website, which I'll show you. It's on this tab here. So if that's published on or off, you easily manage that here. If you want to feature it on your own website, your entire website, this is where you would publish it on and off. The property blaster, I'll show you, it's here, but you can also manage it on or off. This is where it will blast it out across all of the different available sites, and then you can set when it's due to expire here. So before you do any of that, you want to make sure that you have your property basics filled out. So the address, zip code, the market status, this is where you would go and type in what type of deal type it is, how much you're going to list it for, all the beds, baths, year, square foot. If you want to assign a catchy title, you want to put in a great description for it. Some more property information, so address details. So if you wanted to have the latitude and longitude displayed, or you want to display the full address. Some people may say they don't want to display the address at all, so you can click that off. Property features, it's easy that you can just click through different features and make sure that these are, featured on any of the flyers or any of the places that it's published. If you have a great school district, then you want to publish that information as well. If you are in a place that has different parking space, frontage, any stories that you want to advertise, that's where you would go. And pricing details, so if it's going to be a rental, if you want to show the price, if you don't want to show the price. Open house, if you have an open house coming up, you could also advertise that on the actual single property website. If it is listed, you can add the MLS number and the agent ID. If you've created a video tour, you can put your code here and a little description of the video. And then here's where you would upload all of your images. So I scrolled down. You can upload as many images as you'd like, and then you can sort them, so whichever image shows up on top is going to be the primary image. And that's just a drag and drop. You just put them wherever. So this is the single property website tab. Again, you would publish it on or off. And in order to go in and work with it, you kind of have to publish it already. So you would view and customize. We have several different templates. You can update the background. You can update whatever. If you're not in Florida, you want like some mountains, or instead of palm trees, or maybe you some grain showing in the background. I don't know. So you have the ability to change all these different things. So further down, you can set up a domain specifically for this. You update your domains here. Here's where your website status is, how many visitors, how many leads we've captured. If you want to reset the stats, if you went in and played with it a lot, then you would reset it before you publish it anywhere. Here's your links, and then you have short links here. We do have a bunch of domains that we've pre-selected for you guys, and all it does is kind of put a little number at the end of it. I don't know if you can see it here, but it doesn't look like that one's working. But anyway, if you want to just copy the short link, maybe you're sending it out in a text message, you use your short links here. If you want to set up a workflow here, when someone fills out the form, what workflow they're going to get set up in. So distressed seller, or cash buyer, maybe you've got a workflow set up for cash buyers, and you want them to get a series of emails kind of explaining all of that. Here's where you're going to turn on or off. If you've got video, You would turn that on. If you don't have any video, you can turn it off here. You definitely want to show images if you can. Perhaps you don't want to show comps or walk score or any analysis or documents, whatever you'd like. That's where you turn it on and off. This would be the QR code if you're still using QR codes. Tracking pixels, we talked about that already, so here's where you can save tracking pixels. And then if you have a stylized description that you'd like to go in to this specifically for the website, you can save that here. Your property flyer, it's quite easy. Once you have all that information, you could create a flyer. You've got 4 different templates that you can choose from. Again, you would just type in the information here, save the flyer, and then it's available for you to download. This one's not going to be very interesting because I don't have any details in here. But that's available for you to go and print. HTML flyers are also available. So if you're going to be sending out any information online and you want to embed some code in there, you can use the HTML flyer. An email is quickly for you to go in and kind of send out an email to your subscribers then about this specific property. You can go in and do that there. Your Property Blaster, this is where I was telling you it's going to take a few days for it to actually send it out. It says it can take 24 to 48 hours for it to publish, but these are all the sites that it will publish, and then these sites actually publish it out to more sites, so be sure that you go into like Hotpads and find out who they're syndicating it to. So otherwise, on your property, you've got a spot for notes, a spot for uploads. Here's your tasks. You've got the deal analyzer. You can go in and do what if scenarios. You've got comps where you can go in and look at different comps that are on the property. You would just click them here. Your repair list, I'm just quickly going through these because there's different videos that kind of dig in deeper, but you've got exterior, interior, and plumbing. So however, if you've got repairs that you're going to do on this, and then it'll come up with a grand total. You can save these if you've got a series of repairs that you're constantly doing. You save it as a default list and that'll prop up on every property. Of course, contacts, you can add, pin a lot of different contacts to this property. So say you've got a bunch of properties working and you've got different contractors and everybody that you just need to have associated with the different properties. You could just quickly pin them here. And then, of course, the lead sheet, that's your property information sheet. We don't recommend that you print these lead sheets, that you go in and print our PI sheets because this will print in multiple pages and it just kind of looks ugly. But it's here for you. All the details are here for you. And that is pretty much it on your dashboard. Of course, up at the top, now we've got contacts. So again, these are all the different contacts that I have in this test account. But you've got a quick list of the phone numbers, email addresses. If it's a property, it'll show a little house here. This little thing is if they've sent in a message. You can see the different messages options here. You can quickly text them back if you need to from here. And then if you want to send a ringless voicemail, if you're in our Profit Dial Pro account, you can quickly choose a recording to send and then continue, choose what number it's going to come from and hit continue. And that could quickly do a little ringless voicemail. So again, if you were to check multiple people and you had, you wanted to trigger a workflow, or you wanted to trigger the, I guess you can opt in the phone numbers or email addresses. You can remove or add tags to these contacts. You could export them, you can delete them. You could create tasks for them. You can search for a particular name. You can filter based on tags. So if you wanted to see all of your attorneys, you could quickly look at see who all the attorneys are. So that's a good way to kind of quickly filter on all of your hot prospects, perhaps. Maybe all your cash buyers you wanted to say, I'm I'm going to send this email blast out for this brand new property I just created, and I'm going to send it to all my cash buyers. So that's it for contacts. Let's see here. This is how you configure the table. So these are all the things that I've got currently displayed, but if I didn't want to see email addresses and maybe I just wanted to see the tags, and I don't care about their opt-in status, and I wanted to see my quick action buttons, you could filter the table so it's just less confusing. That little icon that I just clicked on will take you into your Profit Dial phone numbers. So we'll go into that in a few minutes. But that's everything pretty much on the Contacts tab. If you want to add a contact, you can quickly add first, last name, email address, phone number, and then whether or not you have permission to email them. If you want to look at the different things available on the contacts, if you had a picture for them, you can add a picture. These are the tags that they have applied, any social details that you have, if they're opted in or out. All of that is here. If they're in any flows, any notes that you've added to them, any tasks, calls or texts, ringless voicemails, emails, yada, yada, yada. The important information on the Details tab is stored here. You can add different tabs if you want to. You can create a tab so that if you wanted to just show important information up here, you'd have the ability to do that really quickly. Tasks we kind of already went over, but you could quickly get to them here as well. Deals is where you would find your property pipeline. So we kind of went through the property pipeline already. You can do a property search here. So if you had a property that you were looking for and you wanted to find out if it was listed in here, you could quickly search for it. That address is not in this account. And then field agents. Here's your field agent portal. If you wanted to add a new field agent, you can look at the field agent landing pages here. This is a list of all the field agents I have in this account, when they were created, how many properties they submitted, what type of field agent, if they're simple or advanced, if you want to deactivate them or reset their password or just delete them. Here are the landing pages. So I have the Looking for Property Finders landing page. It's a little video that plays. It's the web form. So all of this information just kind of is what you use to solicit for additional field agents. And there's an email series campaign that you can include. And that's pretty much it on field agents. Again, you can see who's viewed it, how many leads you've gotten from it. So these would be the different leads that came in on this. I could reset my stats if I wanted to, and I could export all the names if I wanted to. And that's the same for any of the submission stats. So this is kind of how that looks. And again, if I were to click on them, it would take me in to that account. So again, here's some activity that was done and tags that were applied to them, some notes that were set up. So that's just another look at a field agent. Deals is, marketing is your automation, so your workflow. Again, that's this part of the Profit Dial. So under workflows, you have all of pretty much the autoresponder campaigns, the ones that the systems have built. If you already have your authority site built, most of these come in because of that, but you can certainly create additional workflows. If you want to go and edit a workflow, this little pencil, this is where you would go and insert steps. You can rename it. If no record exists, you can label it as something when someone starts this workflow, like rename this person or authority workflow or whatever you want to call it. That's going to name the person so that you don't have just a bunch of commas and no names. And then you would know I'll filter it on this name, and then I need to go back in and update it once I get their information. So this one is just an email series with a series of delays. And it's kind of already built out for us based on the email templates that we have. Distressed seller template number 5, number 6, so it just keeps going through. Call flows are very similar, only the call flow is when somebody calls into your Profit Dial phone number. So you set up what you want to happen next. So it's just step by step, all the different things that can happen next. The campaign tracker is where you would go to manage your upcoming and current campaigns. Broadcasts, if you want to send out an email blast, this is where you would go. Again, you've got an inbox and an outbox, so any messages that you've received in, how long the messages were, and then if you click on it, it takes you back into the contact. Up here also, you've got, it looks like I've got 10 phone calls. I've got one little message here. You can play it. And little messages. So test successful. This was the last message, but if you want to go in and look at the text that went back and forth, that's how you can see that. And then once you've got all these messages here, you can again create tasks for them, do different actions on any of them. Web tools is where you would go to get to your domains, your websites, landing pages, specific web forms. If you wanted to create new web forms, this is where you would go to do that. Opt-ins and pop-ups, this is where you would go to create new opt-ins and manage your opt-ins. And then the classified engine is where you can go and actually work on classified ads for Craigslist, but we don't really utilize this because you can't use short links and codes and stuff like that anymore. You used to be able to use create a cool Craigslist ad and use the HTML, and then the ad would look really beautiful. But really, they just want text ads now, so we don't really utilize that much anymore. But you're welcome to go in and play with it. It's fun. And then resources is your animation library, where you can go and look at tenant renters, lease option. Like these are the different cartoons that would play within your landing pages or whatever you're building. Your content library is that houses all the different all the content associated with each of these. So any lease option, you've got your different flows for it. You've got some direct mail marketing that you could download. If you don't have it already, you see this little inbox and you would just click it in order to get it and install it, and now I've got it. So you can kind of just see I've got different free reports. If you wanted to look at them, you could come here and just kind of look at what it looks like. And then your document library, if you wanted to put all your documents and store them, there's some shared documents within here. You can submit your own files, but this is all your documents. You have a marketing and budget calculator. You have property alerts in here, so just like if you had some information about if you wanted to see every time somebody submitted a property that met your criteria, you could see that from our community. That's where you would go to manage that. And then if you wanted to just go directly into the Gold Club, this would take you into your Gold Club account. This is just notifications. Your recents, so wherever I went recently. Our support center, what's new. This is our manual, so if you really wanted to take a deeper dive in, this is where you would go to get your Dreams manual. I don't recommend printing it because it's 193 pages, but anything that you need to learn, it's all in here. And then anything about your account, your subscription details, your account information, everybody that's on your team, your marketing profiles you can manage here. Your system settings, again, will take you back into the Profit Dial system. And then if you wanted to log out. So I hope that helps. And if we can be of service, please let us know. Email us at vasupport@globalpublishinginc.com. Thanks.